Nothing I say is financial advice. However, when I mention something called Arbitrum, when I mention something called Base, which is Coinbase's layer 2, people like to tell me, who cares about that? But to me, just take a look at Arbitrum quite a while back ago. It was considered one of the most popular Ethereum layer 2s out there. I think it still is as of right now, but of course it doesn't have the popularity it did before. Also on top of that, Base, which is Coinbase's layer 2. We have to consider Coinbase is on the S&P 500. When it comes to something like Onyx, keep in mind, it's built on Arbitrum and secured by Base. We've seen, right, when Solana kind of had that sort of, tension, what kind of went along? It was kind of the memes, right? People looked at that, and also some other projects too on Solana, like for instance, Jupiter. So if let's say Arbitrum, if let's say something like Base becomes a narrative, and let's say hypothetically there was an altcoin season, and Onyx, which not only is focused on global chain finance, but then it's built on Arbitrum and secured by Base. If let's say Arbitrum again had some attention, Base, wouldn't they be, maybe exploring some projects out there? Like, okay, maybe what is built on Arbitrum? What is secured by Base? This is my perspective. And Onyx, not only is it a miniature version, in my perspective, somewhat, in terms of the vibe of like a Stellar and also an XDC, but then again, it has that aspect of being built on Arbitrum and being secured by Base. So it kind of has multiple avenues. That's the way to take a look at it, in order to maybe have some hypothetical notoriety. And keep in mind, when it comes to Onyx, what is a part of its ecosystem? Sure, I mean, it's not doing the best as of right now when it comes to Onyx, right? It's currently around 55.5 times lower than 25 cents. But again, if we take a look at its ecosystem, something that is there, allegedly, at least from what I can see, is something called Chain. Now, if we take a look at the history, or should I say kind of the origins of Onyx, right? We have to kind of consider how back then Chain rebranded to Onyx, right? Which is, again, we see Onyx as of right now. But if I take a look at Chain as sort of an entity, what did I see happen to them not that long ago? Chain, not too long ago, fully upgraded, allegedly, to ISO 20022. Keep in mind, what projects out there right now within this space that are pretty popular have an aspect of ISO 20022? Zebig, I think because it's the arguable most comparable competitor when it comes to Onyx, right? Or should I say ZBCN? And then I take a look at Stellar, but, a lot of people already know that. But we also take a look at XDC. It has an aspect also of ISO 20022. So again, Chain being allegedly in the Onyx ecosystem, and then not too long ago it fully upgraded to ISO 20022. Not to mention, we take a look at kind of the origin that I mentioned before when it comes to Onyx and kind of the history that it had, right? When it kind of rebranded to Onyx. This is why I am not forgetting about something like Onyx, and why I'm still taking a look at 2026, even as of right now. But at least when it comes to Onyx, seeing the aspects of Chain, again, seeing the aspects of Arbitrum, something like Base, I kind of like the hypothetical narrative. We'll see what happens though. But the thing is this, now that Onyx, right, has more kind of notoriety, I guess, in terms of the AI space, because we take a look at the Onyx AI agent V2 and all this. Also, not to mention, I take a look at when it comes to, right, the testnet of their layer 1 blockchain. Supposedly this year they're going to be doing the mainnet. But the thing is this, Onyx without kind of any sort of big narrative when it comes to AI, I think back then, without the testnet when it comes to their layer 1 blockchain. And less than a year ago, I saw a market cap of around $1 billion. The thing is this, XCN as of right now, market cap is around 165 million, around that, right? Slightly more, but whatever. Like when it comes to that, that's over 5 times lower than $1 billion in terms of market cap. So if the sentiment when it comes to XCN returned back to where it was just around a year ago, so what, the market cap is like around $1 billion at that point? Like we're over 5 times lower than that. BNB is not over 5 times lower than any point it's ever reached in the past year, or let's say a year and a half or something like that. Neither is Ethereum or Bitcoin, right? If I take a look at projects like BNB, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Onyx, there's only one project there out of the 4 that is currently over 5 times lower than where it was just around a year ago, which may not sound like a good thing because that's a pullback, right? But if let's say the lower something is, isn't the ceiling theoretically further? Who knows though, but I'm just saying, in just a make-believe scenario. As of right now, we're starting to see altcoins recover slightly, right? But not really that much though. I mean, we've seen some projects out there do like 10% and all this. In some cases, like 30%, right? But those are like for some of the very small projects out there. Like even some cases I saw like 50% when it comes to like some memes and all this. But then actually, when it comes to a project of this kind of size, right? When it comes to like Onyx, I have not really seen like anything that significant as of late happen, but we'll see, right? Who knows if there's going to be an altcoin season or not? Who knows if this is just going to be like just a short-term thing? We'll have to wait and see. But to me, I am not about trying to find whether or not there's a moment exactly this time or not. My thing is just staying patient, holding, and just preparing in case of something. That's it. My thing is not about finding the perfect moment. I'm never going to be able to do that. My thing is just about preparing for a moment. The analogy that I use is like, let's say I'm training for a marathon. I may not know exactly when I'm going to be running one, but at least I'm preparing for one in case something were to pop up, right? Let's say there's like a marathon randomly. Okay, then if I'm prepared, I can do it, right? That's just my kind of perspective when it comes to all this. But even besides all that though, when it comes to XCN as of right now, I just have this mindset where I haven't given up. Now, this is just my perception, but in the meantime, when I take a look at Onyx, it's basically, right, at a market cap that when XCN was about at around $1 billion, I was wondering like, wow, if only the market cap was below 200 million again. That's my thought process at that point. But right now, it's literally at that point. So yeah, I just haven't given up when it comes to something like XCN. I'm not telling anyone to do anything. But even besides all that though, I want to say thank you for watching and I hope you all have a very nice day. And yeah, I'll be making more updates when it comes to Onyx if there's going to be more updates that are going to come up. However, again, thank you for watching and I greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain. I'm out. Peace. Bye.